tell you how proud and excited I am for these guys, especially, you know, the seniors, juniors, the guys that have been through a lot. But I'm not sure of all the great teams we've had, I've ever had one in a day that changed what we do on a game plan and executed as well as they did. So I'm just proud of them, excited for them, and looking forward to moving on.
Can you raise your hand, please? Let's get a mic to you. Let us know who you are, who you're with. To our left.
Matt Sharvin of Detroit News. This is for Trav and Brandon. Early on, Trav, you were obviously scored 13 quick, and then Brandon, you were big at the start of the second half. As two seniors, was part of that? Did you guys talk about not wanting this to be your last game and I don't know, I guess coming out big and carrying the game early?
Travis?
It's funny that you say that. Draymond Green actually texted me this morning and said, don't let this be your last game, and I texted him back and said it won't. But that was our mindset coming in. We knew they're a great team. We had to jump out on them early.
Yeah, you know, coming to the locker room, you know, after, you know, the first half, we just kept telling each other that, you know, we definitely want to practice tomorrow. And, you know, coming to this game, myself and Travis and, you know, Denzel, but being that, you know, Travis and I are seniors, you know, we just kept telling each other that, hey, you know, we definitely don't want this to be our last game. So, you know, we kept playing hard and, you know, we just kept playing with passion.
Zach Brazil, New York Post. This is for either it's for Brandon or Denzel. I mean, when you look at what Travis has done from where he was last year to this year, scoring 23 points in a game like this, is it hard to believe how far he's come?
Denzel?
No, not really. I mean, he's always had that capability. You know, we just had, you know, basically a three-year starter in Keith Appling, you know, playing in front of him. So Travis was always ready. But it's his senior year and it's his time to shine. So, you know, he always just stayed humble his 3 years, and he was always calm and just kept working. And now, you know, he's showing what he can do.
Yeah, just by playing with Travis since AAU basketball, you know, those shots that, you know, Travis made, you know, throughout, you know, the Big Ten tournament and, you know, shots he made in the regular season and, you know, a few of the shots he made, you know, today's game just shows, you know, Travis is a big-time player. You know, he's been in moments like this plenty of times, and you know, when the shot he made, you know, I think late in the court, I knew it was going in for a fact. You know, that's just, you know, what type of player he is. He, you know, big-time players make big-time plays, and that's what Travis did.
Follow up.
To follow up with Travis, you know, Denzel said it. You know, you waited your turn. How hard was that to wait till your senior year? And did you ever have doubts?
To be honest with you, there was a lot of things that played into it. I mean, if you look early on, I had a lot of injuries. I mean, I lost out on 2 summers, and I mean, that's really when you improve. So I think that played a major key into it. But at the same time, I mean, I've always had great players around me, and all I care about is winning, whether that's playing a lot, scoring a lot, or not even playing at all. As long as we win, that's all I care about.
To our left on the aisle.
Denzel, question about Brandon for you. Matt Costello said right before the game, you usually do the kind of the huddle when you guys are jumping around, and he jumped in and kind of took over. And Tony Bennett said they just couldn't match his energy. To hear that about, can you talk a little bit about what Brandon gave you today and how he changed the game defensively early on there?
Yeah, it's funny you said that because, yeah, when we usually, you know, jump in around in our huddle or whatever, I'm usually the one that always, you know, takes it over and is encouraging guys and everything. BJ just took it over for some reason, and I'm like, oh, he ready to play. So when he did that, I knew he was ready to play, and, you know, BJ, he just came out like a monster, and, you know, he did what he's supposed to do. And then at halftime, you know, I stayed in his ear, you know, all game because I knew if I couldn't be in the game, I had to stay in his ear. So, you know, I just kept encouraging BJ, and he pulled through.
Going to work the right side of the rim.
Jim Comparoni, SpartanMag.com. Travis, what was going through your mind the first 5 minutes when you went on your hot streak? And then later, there was a transition opportunity when Brandon ran the floor. Costello went first, and Brandon came fast. I think outran Atkins on that one. What did you see in Brandon on that one? How key was that play? And what did you see from Brandon as that was developing?
It's funny. I actually caught the ball around half court, and once I got it, all I hear is BJ just yelling my name, Trav, Trav. And by that time, he's way behind me. There's 2 guys in front of him, and then he just separates and goes down and finishes, gets an and one. And I think that was one of the major plays of the game because that changed the momentum, honestly, and it really got him going too. So after that, we were just rolling with him.
Back of the room.
CL Brown, ESPN.com. Travis, did you ever kind of just feel snake bit, you know, considering the injuries that you went through? I mean, didn't at one point even your blisters had a blister within it?
Yeah, I've had probably all the weird injuries. I haven't had any surgeries, but I've probably had every injury in the book that would make you shake your head. But I just think everything happens for a reason. I just thank God for literally just bringing me through it. It's made me a better person, honestly, just all the things I've been through.
To our right.
Travis said earlier question, you just talked about your start, those first 5.5 minutes, scoring 13 out of your team's 15 points to give you an 11-point lead, and how that felt and what you were thinking starting the game.
To be honest with you, it started off by my teammates did a great job of getting me open looks. I mean, I think BJ or Zell threw me a breakout. I got a dunk, and then I got a layup from one of the 2. And then Zell hit me with a great pass on a 3. So I got to give my teammates credit for that because they did a good job of finding me early on.
To our left.
Roger Rubin from the New York Daily News. It's really a question for all 3 of you guys. Coach Izzo said that he asked you in a day to change something significant about the team's personality, and I'm sure he'll eventually tell us what that is. But when he comes to you and says to you, we're going to do this thing that's totally different, give us a little bit of insight into how you digest the fact that the coach is asking you to be totally different.
Left to right, Denzel.
Well, at this point in the season, you know, we're playing teams that, you know, we're not familiar with. So, you know, if we got to do something that's uncharacteristic of us, then we just have to do it. And we got to trust in the coaches that, you know, they're being right. And, I mean, obviously they were right because, you know, our defensive concepts, you know, it worked today. And, you know, our coaches do a great job of preparing us for this.
Brandon.
Yeah, just you know what Denzel said. You know we've been playing, you know, in this term we've been playing, you know, teams that, you know, we're not familiar with. So you know you have to follow the coach's game plan, and you know that's what we've been doing. You know, our coaching staff, our managers, they do a great job of getting us prepared. But you know, when you have trust in the coach, and you know the things that, you know, he tell us to do, then that's when, you know, things fall into place. Like for instance, you know, coach told me, you know, in this game that I can't go for any steals, and I can't gamble, and I didn't go for any steals. So I said, you know, coach, I'm listening to you.
Travis.
Yeah, I think you just got to give our coaching staff a great hand. Not only coaches, but our assistant coaches. I mean, they're staying up to late hours of the night preparing us for our game. But I think it just speaks to how great they really are. They literally told us a totally different game plan from some of the things that we've been taught for 4 years, honestly. And for them to be able to display that to us and for us to pick it up, I think it just shows how great of coaches they are.
Second row, right in front of me.
Greg Logan of Newsday for Travis. You mentioned your teammates getting you those open looks earlier, but it seemed like you had a very aggressive mindset. Did you see that as a chance to seize control of the game? And once you had that lead, does that change the complexion from there on out just because of the type of game that it was?
Yeah, I think because of the way Virginia plays, they're a team where if they get you down, or if it's a slow down game, I mean, the momentum's in their hand just because of the way they play. So early on, our thing was attack from the get-go, not just myself, everybody. We need to try and attack, get a lead, and then, I mean, it gives us kind of a cushion. But at the same time, you got to give Virginia a lot of credit. And most of that was because of the way they play.
Middle of the room.
Last I heard, Carolina Blitz. You guys are probably one of the most dangerous teams within this bracket, and you're a 7th seed. Do you feel that there's less pressure as a 7th seed? Is there a us against the world type of mentality that you enter this tournament with?
Well, just you know, throughout the season, you know, we've definitely had an up and down season, and you know, we had some losses that, you know, in my mind that, you know, we shouldn't have. But you know, coming to this tournament, you know, we just told each other like, hey, you know, if we see the coach's game plan, if we all play together, you know, we bring in passion and we trust in one another, then, you know, the sky's the limit for us. So, you know, I think coming to this tournament, being a 7th seed, is definitely, you know, we're against the world, you know, type mentality for, you know, all of us. And, we keep playing the way we planned, and we're definitely gonna make a good run.
Left standing.
Chris Solari, Lansing State Journal. Travis, defense obviously is something people were talking about all week, but a lot of it was with Virginia. Can you talk about, I guess, what the challenge is when your program is built on that and hearing people talking about other programs' defense? And does that raise your game to become a better stopping team on defense?
To be honest with you, all year we've tried to improve defensively. And honestly, we're going up against one of the better teams statistically in the country against Virginia. But we don't try and get caught up in that. I mean, if you think about that, there's 100 other mind games you could be playing with. So our thing is just concentrate on winning the game, honestly. Listen to our coaches and trying to do what we need to do to win.
Okay, Travis, Brendan, Denzel, great job. Thanks. Okay, questions for Coach Izzo. First one to our left.
Roger Rubin, New York Daily News. So, Tom, fill us in. What was the major personality change?
Well, it really wasn't a personality. It was just the concepts. Usually we're a team that our guards, we call it jump to the ball. We're always giving help. We play kind of like they do, a little Pac-Man defense. But because they run these flare screens and they're so good at it. I mean, this is a hard team to prepare for and a very well-coached team. And a couple guys didn't have as good a games, but because they flare those guards, we couldn't get caught up in that. So we used our bigs in the middle, and we just kind of changed what we do, and we did it in a day and a half. And, we did some things against Wisconsin where we changed how we played. Some guys are just concept guys that do the same thing, and I respect that because, we're just not quite as talented as we normally bid, so we're always cheating and trying to find a way to get an edge. And give my staff a lot of credit, boy. They sat down and did it. But to have a team do that in one night, change, or 2 nights, kind of the things that, like Brandon and Trav have done the same thing for 4 years. And it was interesting because we put Brandon on the perimeter at the 3 because we just were running out of bodies there in that first half. And he jumped to the ball and he held like we normally do, and they flared him and got a bucket, and he kind of said, it's different when I'm playing the 3 than the 4. So it was just something we did tactically, and and my assistants talked about it, and we went with it, we implemented it, and boy, the credit goes to coaches can tell you what to do, but to do it when muscle memory tells you to do it a different way, that's where I think we all talked about. In fact, Irvin talked about it when he talked to him. At this time of year, your focus has to be incredible, and that was incredible focus, if you ask me.
Middle of the room.
Hey, Coach, David Meeks, USA Today Sports. You said yesterday that you've learned over the years you got to look at the whole weekend. You can't just look at the first game. When did you see this in Virginia? When did you guys come up with this? Was this earlier in the week? Was it after watching them play Friday, or how did it work?
No, I didn't go that far. I mean, we're not that good a team. I mean, we couldn't go in thinking. I watched some film on Virginia early, but I also know what we did last year, and that probably helped us a little bit too. So I did forget to say that because we did similar things last year. But last year we didn't have to cheat as much because Harris and Appling were 2 of the best guards defensively in the country. So we kind of talked about it on Tuesday. If we play them, this is some things we can look at. Put it down, had our video guys pull some clips of when we played them, had them pull some clips of some games to show what we were trying to get across. And the minute we got back from the game, we gave them a half hour, we talked about it, and we went with it.
Back of the room.
Chris Solari, Lansing State Journal. Tom, a couple of the guys said that you brought up the Wisconsin game down the stretch to them. What did you tell them, and what did you see differently in this game from those guys versus last week?
Well, like I said, I've always been a guy that if there's an elephant in the room, I'm going to address it. And, I made no bones about it. We didn't finish the job against Wisconsin. And so all I wanted them to do is learn from it, because it wasn't a couple of plays. It was a couple of defensive lapses. It was not cutting out. And so those are the things we emphasize. And that's the advantage of playing in championship-level games because they hurt a little more. You remember them a little bit more. And I think our guys, I might have said it once or twice, but they said it more. And don't forget, now we got to do this, we didn't do that. That's pretty cool when that happens.
Third row right in front of us.
Jim Utter, Charlotte Observer. Coach, do you think you've talked a lot about your team not being quite as talented this season? Do you consider them now overachieving, or do you feel that they're sort of maximizing the potential that you've seen in them all season?
Well, that's not a cut to us. It was just that we're missing a few players that we started the year with, and in all honesty, we're not as talented. I mean but that happens to a lot of teams, you know. And I did say this is one of the more together teams we've had ever. I mean, something funny happened the other night after the game. You know, we watched a little film like we do, and then we give them a meal, and then we send them up and we do some stuff, and we bring them back down. And after the meal, they just sat there and laughed and talked. And, you know, usually you had guys that would run up and grab their phones and text their girlfriends and call it a week, you know. And these guys just enjoy being around each other. And I think that's the makeup of a team, you know. And I give our credit to our seniors, you know, and our junior. These three guys did that. I mean, Brandon's an unbelievable teammate, sometimes too good of a teammate. Got to get a little more selfish. And Trav and Zell are they're just special. And I've gotten a lot of credit from our football coach when he says, you know, I look across and you've taught us how to win championships. Well, the last couple of years, he's taught me that our seniors have to be good down the stretch, and that's what he preaches to his team, and it's been good for me and my team.
To the left.
Tom, along those lines, I mean, Brandon had a marvelous game against Virginia last year, but he had Adrian Payne in the game. There are other things. He's kind of what separates you. And so can you talk about his performance in this setting today with your roster as it is?
You know, that breakaway, I told him after in front of everybody that I'm really mad at him because that's what I think he has to give. I mean, to me, that was an unbelievable play. I'd like to know what that 40 speed was. He looked like Secretariat. He just put in another gear. And when he called Trav, he was 10 feet behind him because I was right in line. And when Trav threw it, I said, what is he doing? And it was one step, you know. Brandon has got some special skills that he doesn't even know he has sometimes. But he is getting better, and you know, and we shouldn't punish him because it's taking a little longer. Because like Trav said, I think he'd have been a different player too if he didn't miss 2 summers, and we had Brandon miss 2 summers, and that's more difficult than people think. You know, just like Anderson, I mean, he's not the same player he was. I mean, that kid in the middle of January, I think was one of the best players I saw play, and injuries are more difficult than people think to get over.
Front row.
Doug Dowdy with the Roanoke Times. Forgive me if you've answered this already. 5-point game with just under 3 minutes left. They'd been fouling you. You hadn't taken many field goal attempts. Trice waves off the screener and hits a 3. Talk about that play.
Good coaching. I told him to do it. No, I didn't. You know, that's what you say. You rely on your seniors, and you know, they're a hard team to get around because, you know, we were trying to ball screen it. They trap that and jump it. So we started telling Trav, just take them one-on-one. And I wasn't expecting him to pull up from that distance. But it's one of those, oh, no, nice shot, you know, type things. And but he's made a lot of those through his whole career. He's made a lot of those in high school. I just got to run with him because kid's an incredible kid, and I'm just happy that he made it.
To our right.
Tom, Jim Comparoni, SpartanMag.com. I think that's 13 Sweet 16s for you now. You just beat a team that was 30-3, and it's round of 32. Did that seem almost more like a regional final? And what does that do to a team, for your team, just getting started in a tournament to come through a war like that? If you had that type of experience in a second round game, third round.
Well, I think people asked me yesterday about the chip on your shoulder, you know, because we beat them last year. But these guys lost about as much as you could lose last year, you know, when you have 16 years straight or 18 years straight of a senior class going to a Final Four. And I know that record was meant to be broken. I mean, that nobody's done that throughout their career. So it wasn't the record that was earth-shattering to me, but it was to them that they were part of the group that didn't. So I think these guys had a lot more to play for than people gave them credit, you know, and to watch them and listen to our former guys, like you said, Day said today. You know, I just think that's a driving force you should have. You know, you should be. I mean, I can't tell you how good I think Virginia is. I do not think they played well today for Virginia. I guess we get a little credit for that, but it's just one of those days. Some guys miss some shots, and it happens. I mean, it's happened to us. But we've been a team all year that has banged around, probably lost more games than we should have just because of the free throw situation or dumb coaching with 2-3 seconds left to go in a game and people hitting threes and tying it. But I think we've had to earn every single thing we've gotten because every game's been like that. So I think they felt comfortable in a game because that's the way their whole tournament has gone, or the Big Ten tournament. Their whole season has gone that way. And I'm really proud of this team. I don't use that word lightly when I speak, and I am.
Last question.
Zach Brazil, New York Post. Tom, when you look at Travis's development from last year, this year, you said he missed a few summers. Was there anything else that's led to what he's been able to do as a senior?
You know, I honestly believe the summer he's talking about, I mean, I think it was his first year, you know, you got to realize he's 6'1" and $150 when he started, you know, and he got up to about 172 or 3, and then this summer he got really sick. It was a virus of some kind they didn't know. I mean, I was worried about his life for a while, and it totaled him for the whole summer, and he went down, I think, 148 pounds, and then the next summer he had a couple injuries too. He had a concussion. When you miss that much time, you can't get stronger either. And so this summer, if you looked at the spring, summer, and fall, he had the best summer ever, and I think I wore him down a little bit by the middle of December because we just played him to death at the point and guarding the best player, and we had some injuries then when we didn't have any subs in the perimeter, and he went through a little bit of a tough time when I made the lineup change. I think it helped him because Tom took some of that pressure off him and it let him be a scorer, and now he can do both. So I can't say enough about the job he's done, but he has done it the old-fashioned way. He's earned it. He's a gym rat. His dad's a coach. His mother was an athlete. Great family. When I didn't start him, I called his dad, and as I said, he said, yeah, I didn't start some guys on my team either. You know, I mean, everybody gets it. And when he says winning's the most important, winning is the most important.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.